Well, state electrical board. I think I can focus in tight enough. Yeah, you see, here's the circuit we're gonna watch. Wait, hold on, on my chest. You should be able to see that's 15 amp. Now we're gonna look what's on this 15 amp in a duplex, the east side where I live. That property itself, because it's on two lakes here, would easily sell for well over $1 million. And yet, because of grandfathered in laws, they don't have to upgrade electricity the way it should, and I'll talk to you about that in a little bit. But here's that 15 amp circuit. You hear noise in the background. You see it'll focus out. You see a light there. Another light in the kitchen. A receptacle down there, a plug-in receptacle. And here is extension cord. And maybe I'll try to use my toe and see if I can get my old computer, because the battery's shot in that like everything else I own. And then we're gonna go in my little office den. As you can see, the little TV is working. Here's the light on my copier. That goes to that 3-prong outlet that is not grounded. I had 2 different electricians check that. Plus we've got a light here, and so we're just giving you a little idea. I'm going to do this one. The radio is on this one. That one's not just a 2-prong. This one here, you see the green down there, but I'm going to turn it on so you get a little idea of what goes on. There's 2 receptacles now after they totally took this ceiling out. The same in my den, the same in my laundry room. They were totally exposed, but there's no inspection, no building permits picked up. And even though Alexandria Township now is a code enforcement zone to meet state building codes requiring inspections and for new work, and have the city of Alexandria do their work. We've got this one. We've got an old 2-prong outlet there. Plus, we're going to open the door here in a second and see. You see that yellow bug light? That's Lake Darling to the south. You see Lake Carlos to the north here. There's an old pull string in this narrow closet so we got a switch there for these 2 new lights that were installed by her handyman, who's also a carpenter, works for a guy. Then we'll show you my TV going off that old outlet there. My Wi-Fi from CenturyLink is also on that. And then we'll go in my bedroom. You see that night light there. I'm sleeping in the living room with my mattress because combination of the sump pump running constantly, and then now she's irrigating. The sump pump finally stopped, but when she's irrigating, I was going to turn on the vacuum, but you won't hear me here. See the green light there on my shaver, being charged, or beard trimmer, whatever you want to call it. And then we've got a fixture here, has, well, there's an old pull chain there. And then you can see this is a red light, so you know that one's working. It's a 3-prong, but it's not grounded. And then we'll go in my bathroom. I put a night light on there. I put a little piece of tape over it so it would be on. I had a bulb just burnt out on the vanity here. As you can see there, guys, there's no ground fault there. But this one is grounded, but it just doesn't have the ground fault adapter on, like bathrooms and kitchen sinks by those areas should have. So in total, what I'm getting at, there should be 23 receptacles, 13 of which are outlets, double prong outlets. Some of them are 3-prong, but they're not grounded. There is a couple that are grounded on this one particular circuit that I'm about to turn off to show you what I'm talking about. And when we have, you can also see that when you have a non-electrician put a switch in there and over by the door, if it had been an electrician, he would have put one over here or put that one in the middle so you'd have access when you're going to various rooms. The other thing I want you to think about is the fact that in these properties now, they just keep going up in value, another 10%, 10 to 15%. See, when they remodeled, this used to be an entryway into the kitchen, but when she did some remodeling here, she changed it, and so there is no switch by the bedroom when you come in, and the same goes for when you come into the kitchen. See how that particular switch is sitting there, rather than when they did the remodeling, move that switch on this old wiring, but now we're going to save money. And the other thing I'll show you here, we've got a multiple outlet, but the electricians told me that one is not grounded either, but it's set up to be grounded. The microwave is connected to that, and as you can see, the one electrician said, well, you're not going to drop your toaster in the sink or your crock pot. Well, who knows? And I should have had it moved over just the other plug-in. That would have helped as well. But anyway, guys and gals, we're going to pull this, flip the breaker on this 15 amp switch and listen and watch the lights. Suddenly that one's out, that one's out, that one's out, this one's out, so we got 2 outlets on this circuit plus 2 lights, 2 receptacles, I suppose I should say. Now this old TV is out because that's on it. The light here is on it, and my old copier, there's no longer a light in there because when we threw that one 15 amp breaker, here where the radio was going, suddenly that's off because of I flip the breaker on that 15, you can see that little green light isn't there. And there's a tag on there that says, do not connect this plug-in for this air conditioner, which was running before, unless it's on a 3-prong grounded outlet. And then, of course, on that one, see the TV is dead. These 2 new lights that the handyman put in when they put the new ceiling and insulation that should have been on this flattish roof. They should have blown the roof boards as well as the rafters, like a bonded licensed contractor would have done, and I've seen that in a number of places around the lake. See this one, and then of course we'll look in the closet here. That one's off, and then we'll step out. My bug light is off. And as you can see there, that outlet, my night light there, and that I showed you, in case I didn't flip it back, but I think you saw that. See, there's no power there. There's no power on this pull chain. The little green dot on this outlet is not on. The ceiling light is not on, as well as that night light is off that I covered the deal so it'll be on. The fixtures in the vanity are off, and so there should be 23 total receptacles, 13 double outlets, and the rest are lights, and one light includes a fan and lights, and the air conditioner as well. So just gives you a little idea of why when you live in Alex Township, they do inspect for new construction, but when this ceiling was totally tore out, the one in that little den was totally tore out, the whole living room area, in other words over 50% of the square footage here, yet there was no building permit, and even the Alexandria inspector that takes care of them, well, we've got to be there when they're doing something or we can't do anything about it. Well, I have video that I'll show you how these areas are open, so you don't think I'm kidding you guys at the Department of Labor and Industry in state of Minnesota. But now, listen, we'll see if I can get, you should be able to see that this is just a 15 amp breaker. Listen now. All of a sudden we got lights there. We got lights there. That fan is really a good fan. I turned this off for this example because it'll wheel for quite a while. Back to the light there, folks. You can just see my plug-in here is working. They're on the same, I'm going to have to restart my computer, but the radio came on again. This TV came on again. The light on my old printer, the ceiling light, the one bulb will take a little while to come on, but see, this ceiling was all knocked out, exposing the rafters, as well as this whole big living room area, including that little closet that I was just in. So you can see we got air conditioner running again. We got that light. We got the TV running again. We got that light. And just so you don't think I'm trying to squish you, watch out, Chippy. See how that one's on, that outside light. Here is the closet light again. So my clock radio. See the little green dot is on that one to charge my. And then there's that one. The old pole chain of a really old pole chain, as well as the light in the ceiling here, and the night light there and there. So if you're counting electrical board, you should have came up with 23 receptacles. I believe it's 13 that are outlets like that, most of them old. And what I'm saying we need to do, as should be part of the state building code, and all these old houses, especially rental properties like I'm in, you have to put in electrical box. And I know you can do it with just a ground fault, but that doesn't get protection all the way over to the box. And maybe if you're sharp, you see they've got a cabinet over this thing, and I've been here 44 months just trying to get a few things done. Instead, she wants me evicted, and I probably would have been now if it wasn't for good old Governor Walz's eviction deals. I guess Trump started it too, and Biden, but you see, electrician can't get that panel off without first taking the cupboard off. And what I'm getting at here, those, when you have old wiring, Alan Repke and Credit Your Source of Informed TV is saying all these old houses, their electrical boxes need to be upgraded to breakers, and all the breakers have ground fault, arc fault breakers in them. So if the ground fault, folks, if there's something fishy, like on a couple of them I've got here, this one in particular, if I would put that light in there and play with it, it would be there once in a while. What I'm saying is, if the electricity gets on the outside or frayed wires in a receptacle box or light, the ground fault breaker flicks. And in these old houses, if they settle or they have in the remodeling process, somebody did something they shouldn't have, or pulled a wire too tight, or settling going on, and pulls a wire apart, and there's an arc, the split second, there's an arc in any of the wiring in these old houses, especially rental ones, that arc fault breaker will go. And I'm asking you guys to get moving on that. And remember, Credit Your Source, Alan Repke, Informed TV. And I want to show the general public this kind of thing, but I need my own channel again. And so think about this hard when you have your meeting on Tuesday, and hopefully you all look at this before your Tuesday meeting, or shortly after that when I make a few comments and public comments. Alan Repke reporting in Alexandria, Minnesota, trying to get safe housing for people that, like myself, that live in old properties that when their value keeps going up, and they'll be here for another 30 years. We bring the electrical code to the 21st century. It's long overdue, and I think all you folks on the state electrical code board have to agree with me. At least I think you will, and pray you do. Thank you much. Alan Repke reporting for Informed TV in Alexandria. Electrical board, here's two fixtures in my laundry room. You can see the rust coming into the fixture there. There's been water in there that's been filled with water a number of times, and her cleaning lady that's cleaned for me some said, oh yeah, she's seen that full of water many times. And here's the other one. This one may be a little harder to see. You'll have to turn off the light on this one, but this one has it as well, where there's been water in it. And this was after the roof was fixed. Here's what happened. See, he's taken all the insulation out. You buy the good Sylvania ones, where I worked for America's Scrooge, old John Menard. They'll last 10 to 13 years, which means they cost some real money. When you see we opened this area as well because of water damage and a little mold, I don't want that old light bulb fixture there or that old one there. I don't need two fixtures, but once again, putting one of those new style LED fixtures where the bulbs are built right in, they'll last 30, 40 years. And I think we should have a law in at least Douglas County and the state of Minnesota and the region, the nation, that the landlords put these high efficient ones in. You see these old lake cabins, they have been added on and re-added, and they were originally built with a lot of used lumber. You can see all the nails in them. That was common prior to about 1960, and of using old lumber when they built a new house and our new cabins.
But in regards to the rental unit, we do not enforce standards of rental property. We don't go out and inspect rental properties to see if there's any conditions that are inadequate within Alexandria Township.
I firmly believe that this township has an obligation or to work with the city and the county commissioners to say, hey, when renters have problems, they have the right to get their government to come in and look at the disastrous things that people are dealing with. That's why I'm here.
So we'll take that under advisement, and the board can do that, and we appreciate you bringing that forward. But as of right now, the conditions of your rental unit are not under the auspices of Alexandria Township, because we don't have an ordinance that restricts that. And if it's inhabitable for health reasons, then Douglas County Public Health definitely has jurisdiction over all of Douglas County, or if there's a health condition or something that is a condition that's not adequate for living standards.
See if we can figure out a way to get this cockeyed basement mouse free and limit that oh, she's wet here. Sump pump from running 24/7, as you can see. All this stuff is right above my bedroom, and I'm trying to figure out if we would. Where is that water running from? See how wet this is down here? That's what I'm saying. We raised a softener and that hot water heater and the furnace a little bit. Maybe we can get rid of some of these cockeyed problems so I don't have to listen to all this stuff run Last night I had to listen to the softener cycle, the sump pump running, the pressure tank system, and the furnace run. I don't sleep good in the first place. You see my nice door that the landlady finally said she's gonna fix? See, there's some kind of critter's been down there dropping their waste as well.